Imagine this. You're at a seminar. The music is blasting. The lights are flashing. And on stage stands a so-called guru, grinning ear to ear. He shouts, "Shake your body and say yes." The crowd erupts. Yes, yes, yes. They jump, they clap, they let the energy take over. And right in that moment, while their emotions are high and their logic is shut off, he strikes. "Now take out your credit card and invest in yourself," he says, flashing that $1 million smile. And just like that, people rush to sign up, handing over thousands of dollars for some exclusive mentorship that will supposedly change their lives. What they don't realize is they've just been played, scammed, manipulated. And the worst part, they won't even know it until it's too late. But today, you got lucky, because in the next few minutes, we're exposing these narcissistic scammers, their psychological mind tricks, and the manipulative tactics they use to make you thank them for robbing you. If you've ever felt pressured, guilt-tripped, or seduced into buying something that felt off, trust me, that wasn't an accident. These scammers know exactly what they're doing. They don't sell you success. They sell you illusions. They use fake authority, emotional manipulation, and high-pressure tactics to make you believe that if you don't buy now, you'll be a failure forever. But today, that ends, because by the time you finish this video, you will never fall for these scams again. You'll see through every fake guru, every manipulative sales pitch, and every too good to be true promise they throw at you. So get ready, because today we're destroying the scammer playbook, exposing their dirty secrets, and making sure you never get played again. The psychology of a scammer. Why they are narcissists. Why do scammers lie so effortlessly? Why do they take your money without guilt? And why, after ruining lives, do they walk away smiling, as if they've done nothing wrong? The answer is chilling. Scammers aren't just liars. They are narcissists. If you've ever dealt with a narcissist, you know they have one goal: control, power, winning at any cost. They don't see people as individuals with thoughts and feelings. They see them as tools, stepping stones to their own success. A narcissistic scammer believes they are superior to others. They crave admiration, even if it's fake. They feel entitled to everything they have and everything they want. And most importantly, they have no empathy. When you're suffering because of them, they don't feel bad. They feel victorious. That's why scammers don't sell real value. They sell fantasies. They craft illusions of success, status, and easy wealth, making you believe that by giving them your money, you're buying a better future. But in reality, the only future they care about is their own. And here's what makes them truly dangerous. They don't even see themselves as scammers. In their mind, they deserve to win. And if you lose, that's just how the game works. A normal person might ask, how do they sleep at night? But it's easy for them. They tell themselves 3 lies that justify their actions. The first lie is, I'm helping people. They convince themselves that if you fall for the scam, it's your fault for not being smart enough to see through it. The second lie is, everybody lies. They believe deception is normal, that the entire world operates on manipulation, and they're just playing by the same rules. The third lie is, I'm just playing the game. They don't see morality as black and white, only winners and losers. And they don't just believe these lies, they thrive on them. Studies in psychology reveal a terrifying personality type known as the dark triad: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Scammers score high on all 3. They are manipulative, remorseless, and dangerously persuasive. That's why they can smile in your face while taking everything from you. That's why they can ruin lives without losing sleep. And the scariest part, they enjoy it. Every time they deceive someone, they feel a rush, a sense of power. Let's look at an example, one you've probably seen before. A so-called Millionaire mentor appears on social media, flashing his luxury cars, expensive watches, and lavish lifestyle. He tells you he has the secret to financial success and that if you just follow his program, you can be rich too. He holds high-energy seminars, giving passionate speeches about how broke mindsets hold people back. He convinces desperate people to hand over thousands of dollars for his exclusive course or mentorship program. But behind the scenes, the luxury cars are rented. The mansion is an Airbnb. The secret method is nothing more than vague, recycled advice that anyone could find for free. And when his victims realize they've been scammed, he gaslights them. You just didn't work hard enough, he tells them. Success isn't for everyone. Instead of taking responsibility for the lies, he blames the victim. That's the hallmark of a narcissistic scammer. They never see themselves as the villain. Now that you understand who these scammers are, it's time to go deeper. How do they manipulate you? What tricks do they use to get inside your head? In the next section, we'll break down their mind games so that you never fall for them again. Manipulation tactics. How scammers trick you. Scammers don't just trick people by accident. Every word they say, every action they take, and every strategy they use is carefully designed to bypass logic and hijack emotions. They don't convince you with facts. They overload your brain with feelings until you're too overwhelmed to think clearly. And once your emotions take control, that's when they strike. One of the most common and effective tactics they use is high-pressure sales and urgency. Have you ever seen an offer that says, "Only 3 spots left. Act now or miss out forever"? That's not a coincidence. Scammers create artificial scarcity to make you panic. When you believe an opportunity is slipping away, your brain goes into survival mode. You don't have time to analyze or question things logically. You just react. And that's exactly what they want. If you had time to step back and think, you might realize the entire offer is fake. But they can't let that happen. That's why they push you to make decisions fast, before the rational part of your brain catches up. Another tactic scammers use is fake authority and social proof. They surround themselves with symbols of success, luxury cars, expensive suits, massive social media followings, because they know people are more likely to trust authority figures. But here's the truth. Most of what you see is stage. The cars, rented. The followers, bought. The testimonials, fake or scripted. They manufacture credibility to make you think they're experts, when in reality, they have nothing of value to offer. They understand that perception is reality, and if they can make you believe they're successful, they don't actually have to be. Scammers are also masters of love bombing and emotional manipulation. They make you feel special, like you're part of an exclusive elite group. If you've ever heard phrases like, "I only work with action takers," or "I don't usually offer this, but I see potential in you," that's manipulation. It's designed to make you feel chosen, like you're getting access to something others don't. And once you feel that sense of privilege, you'll be far less likely to question them. You won't want to lose your special status, so instead of thinking critically, you'll double down and convince yourself that you're making the right choice. But what if you hesitate? That's when they switch tactics and use guilt-tripping and shame. They'll say things like, "If you're not willing to invest in yourself, you don't really want success." They'll make you feel like a failure for doubting them. Suddenly, it's not about whether their program works, it's about whether you are good enough. And nobody wants to feel like they're the problem. So instead of walking away, people end up buying just to prove they're serious, even when deep down, they feel something is off. Another psychological trick they use is the bait and switch. They promise one thing but deliver another. They'll say, "Join my mentorship, and I'll personally teach you everything." But once you pay, you realize the mentorship is just pre-recorded videos with zero personal interaction. They'll claim their system is easy, but once you're in, they'll keep upselling you with extra courses, claiming you need to buy more to see real success. The deeper you go, the more money you spend, And before you know it, you're trapped in a never-ending cycle of payments with nothing to show for it. And the worst part, by the time people realize they've been scammed, they often refuse to admit it, because the mind hates feeling foolish. This is why smart, educated people can still fall victim to these tactics. It's not about intelligence, it's about emotional manipulation. When you're being scammed, you don't feel like you're being tricked. You feel excited, hopeful, even empowered. And that's what makes these scams so dangerous. But now that you know their tricks, you have the power to see through the illusion. In the next section, we'll break down the psychological traps that keep victims stuck, even after they've realized they were scammed. Stay with me, because what we're about to uncover next will explain why so many people defend their scammers instead of exposing them. The scam victim cycle. Why smart people still get fooled. Even though you may think you'd never fall for a scam, smart, educated people get fooled every single day. And it's not because they're dumb or gullible. It's because scammers know exactly how to hijack the human mind. The most dangerous part of a scam isn't the lie itself. It's the psychological traps that keep people stuck in the cycle long after they've been duped. The first part of this cycle is what I like to call the emotional hijack. When a scammer hits you with their high-energy pitch, whether it's at a seminar, on a sales call, or in a social media ad, they don't just sell you a product. They sell you a feeling. It's the feeling of excitement, hope, or even fear that you'll miss out on something life-changing. And when those emotions kick in, your logical brain takes a back seat. When you're emotionally overwhelmed, you stop thinking critically. You feel the urgency of the moment and let those emotions dictate your decisions. This is when the scammer strikes, because they know that when you're in that state of mind, you're much more likely to ignore red flags. Even the sharpest, most logical people can be caught in this emotional whirlpool. It's not about intelligence. It's about how the brain works when emotions are in control. Now, once the scammer has made their sale, you might realize something's wrong. The promised results don't come. The mentor you invested in isn't as responsive as they claimed. You're left feeling frustrated, confused, and disappointed. This is where the sunk cost fallacy comes into play. Have you ever heard the phrase, "It's too late to back out now"? This is what scammers rely on. The sunk cost fallacy is the belief that because you've already invested so much, whether it's time, money, or effort, you can't walk away without getting something in return. You'll double down and keep throwing more money and energy into a situation that's already proven to be a dead end. Even when the facts are clear, your brain convinces you that if you just keep going, eventually you'll break even. But it's a lie. A trap designed to drain you, not reward you. What's even more insidious is the cognitive dissonance that kicks in once you realize you've been scammed. This is a psychological phenomenon where your brain struggles to reconcile two conflicting ideas. On one hand, you know you've been deceived. But on the other hand, you don't want to admit you made a mistake. This internal conflict causes discomfort, so your brain tries to resolve it by justifying the decision. For example, you might think, well, I didn't lose everything. I learned something along the way. Or at least I gave it my best shot. I can't back down now. Scammers know this, so they exploit your sense of pride and ego. They make you feel like you've earned the right to keep going, even if the outcome is the same empty promise. This is why people don't walk away right after realizing they've been scammed. They convince themselves they can still turn things around, or that they're the ones to blame for not succeeding. And here's the kicker. Even after being scammed, some people will defend the scammer. It sounds insane, right? But it happens all the time. It's a psychological defense mechanism known as confirmation bias. Once you've convinced yourself that you've made the right choice, your brain will filter out any information that contradicts your belief. You'll ignore warning signs or even defend the scammer when others point out the fraud. At this point, victims might find themselves rationalizing the scam or even blaming themselves for not trying harder. They might say, Maybe I just didn't work hard enough, or I didn't follow the system correctly. This creates a cycle of self-blame and keeps them from ever truly confronting the scam or taking action. They get trapped in a loop where they become part of the scam's ecosystem, buying more products, joining more groups, and continuing to justify their involvement, even as they spiral deeper into debt and disappointment. But this cycle can be broken. Awareness is the first step. Once you recognize the psychological traps, you gain the power to break free. In the next section, I'm going to show you exactly how to spot these scams before they even begin, so you can avoid falling into this cycle in the first place. The red flags. How to spot a scam before it's too late. Scammers know how to disguise their intentions. They're masters of creating an illusion of value, and their manipulative tactics are often so subtle that even the sharpest eye might miss them. But here's the truth. The red flags are always there. You just have to know what to look for. The first and most glaring red flag is pressure to act immediately. If someone's trying to get you to make a decision right now, without giving you any time to think it through, you're walking into a scam. Scammers thrive on urgency. They want you to make a snap judgment when you're emotionally overwhelmed, without giving you the space to pause and analyze. They'll claim things like, "Only a few spots left," or "This deal expires in 24 hours, to keep you from taking a step back and asking yourself, does this even make sense? A second major red flag is overpromising and underdelivering. If the person on the other side is promising you something too good to be true, like getting rich quick or achieving instant success with minimal effort, then something is wrong. True success doesn't happen overnight. Real achievements require hard work, dedication, and time. Scammers don't want you to think about the effort needed. They want you to focus on the dream, the lifestyle, the luxuries, the ease. But when it's all said and done, there's nothing of substance behind the promise. Another big warning sign is the lack of transparency. A legitimate mentor or business will always be clear about their credentials, track record, and how their system works. If you can't find any concrete evidence to back up their claims, or if they're being vague or secretive about how they operate, that's a huge red flag. Be skeptical of those who hide behind generic language and don't provide clear answers when you ask specific questions. Testimonials and social proof can be manipulated. Scammers often use fake reviews, staged testimonials, and hyped-up success stories to lure you in. It's easy to get sucked in when you see someone's success story on their website. But remember, these can be fabricated. Be wary of anyone who doesn't show you the real hard work it took to get there. And if the testimonials sound too perfect, like every person who went through the program got exactly what they wanted, it's a red flag. Here's another one: lack of accountability. Scammers will often avoid responsibility for your failures and blame you when things don't work out. If you've invested money, time, and energy into something, and there's no clear path to support or accountability, that's a red flag. Real mentors are invested in your success. They offer guidance, encouragement, and actionable steps. Scammers, on the other hand, will just take your money and leave you to figure it out on your own, blaming you if things don't go as planned. A final warning sign is too much secrecy or exclusivity. If the opportunity is presented as invite only, or for a select group of people, with the promise of unlocking secret knowledge, be cautious. This creates a feeling of exclusivity, making you feel special, like you're part of a small club. But in reality, these tactics are designed to make you feel like you're missing out on something valuable, and the fear of missing out is what keeps you hooked. When the price of entry is too high, and the knowledge is kept behind closed doors, it's a classic sign of a scam. So, what do you do if you notice these red flags? Walk away. It's that simple. Trust your gut, ask questions, and take the time to do research. If something feels off, it's better to pass than to risk getting trapped in the scammer's web. But here's the thing. These red flags aren't always obvious, especially when you're caught up in the heat of the moment. Scammers are counting on you not being able to spot them. and they're using your emotions against you. By being aware of these warning signs, you can protect yourself from being taken advantage of and start making smarter, more informed decisions. The aftermath. What to do if you've been scammed. If you found yourself in the unfortunate position of realizing you've been scammed, it's important to know that you're not alone. And it's not the end of the world. The key to overcoming the aftermath of a scam is understanding the emotional and psychological toll it can take, and then taking practical steps to regain control. First, let's talk about the emotional impact. Being scammed often leaves you feeling embarrassed, angry, and helpless. You may even experience shame, especially if you consider yourself a smart person. It's hard to admit that you've been deceived, particularly when you've invested time, energy, and money into something you thought would change your life. But the first thing you need to understand is this: it's not your fault. Scammers are expert manipulators who prey on human emotions, and no one is immune to their tactics. Acknowledge your feelings of anger or frustration, but don't let them paralyze you. This is a moment to regain your power and take action. Start by disconnecting from the scammer. That means cutting all ties, whether it's through email, social media, or phone calls. Once you've cut ties, the next step is to assess the damage. How much money have you lost? What, if any, personal information has been compromised? It's crucial to take inventory of what the scammer has taken from you and figure out what, if anything, can be recovered. Another important step in recovery is to document everything. Keep a record of any correspondence with the scammer: emails, text messages, phone call logs, receipts, or screenshots of ads. This documentation will be essential if you choose to report the scam to authorities, file a complaint with consumer protection agencies, or pursue a refund. Next, it's important to report the scam. The more reports made, the higher the chances of stopping these criminals from targeting others. File complaints with organizations like the Federal Trade Commission or consumer protection agencies in your country. Scammers may not be caught immediately, but the more people who report them, the more likely they are to face legal consequences. As part of your healing process, take the time to learn from the experience. It's painful, but it's also incredibly valuable. This scam didn't happen because you were stupid or gullible. It happened because you were manipulated by a skilled con artist. Use this experience to educate yourself on the psychological tactics we've discussed in this video. The more you learn about scams and manipulation, the less likely you are to fall for them in the future. And finally, take the time to forgive yourself. Yes, this is easier said than done. But remember, being scammed isn't a reflection of your intelligence, your worth, or your judgment. Scammers are expert manipulators who target people just like you. They exploit your desires for success, wealth, or personal growth, and they prey on your emotions. It's not about how smart or cautious you are. It's about how good they are at making you feel something that overrides your critical thinking. Remember, this doesn't define you. You may have lost money or time, but you haven't lost your future. The experience is painful, but it can also be a source of power if you choose to see it that way. You now have a deeper understanding of manipulation and deception. You've seen the tactics firsthand, and now you can spot them a mile away. You are not a victim. You are a survivor. The next time a scammer tries to pull the wool over your eyes, you'll recognize it before it even begins. And with that knowledge, you'll not only protect yourself, you'll help others avoid falling into the same traps. The aftermath of a scam can be overwhelming, but it's not the end of your story. It's a new beginning. As we wrap up today's video, there's one thing I want you to take away. Scammers will always exist. They'll adapt, they'll evolve, and they'll keep coming up with new ways to deceive and manipulate. But here's the thing. They no longer have power over you. What we've covered in this video, the psychology of scammers, their manipulation tactics, and the red flags to watch for, has armed you with the tools you need to recognize scams from a mile away. You've learned how scammers use narcissism, emotional manipulation, and psychological tactics to get what they want. But more importantly, you've learned how to spot those tactics and protect yourself. The reality is, the more you know about scams, the less power they have over you. Scammers rely on your ignorance, your emotional vulnerability, and your desire for quick solutions. But now that you've seen through their playbook, they've lost their edge. Your awareness is your armor, and with that armor, you're invincible. But knowledge isn't just power for you, it's power for everyone you know. Share this video with your friends, your family, your colleagues, anyone who could benefit from the information we've covered today. You can't fight scammers alone, but by sharing this knowledge, you make it harder for them to operate in the shadows. The more people are aware of their tactics, the less effective those tactics become. And that's how we take away their power, not just for you, but for everyone. So, here's your final thought. The more you know, the less power they have over you. This is your life, your time, your money, and you deserve to keep it safe. Never let a scammer rob you of your peace of mind, your hard-earned resources, or your future. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with anyone who could benefit. Let's make sure no one else falls victim to these manipulative tactics. You've got the power now, and it's time to pass that power forward. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay aware, and remember, you are in control.